am in the back seat. It is super hot back here. That's why nobody sat in the back the last time.
We do get pretty close to some of the gates. I don't want to accidentally pinch any fingers or toes. Now we are going directly in with animals, so sometimes they'll come up to the tram and have a look at us. Just still please respect their bubbles and don't try to reach out and pet them. And if you accidentally drop anything off the ride, let me know as soon as you can. 9 times out of 10 I can retrieve the item. However, if it's in the wildebeest yard, all bets are off because I'm not faster than that male wildebeest. If you've seen Lion King, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now our visa oryx coming up ahead here, these are from East Africa and they're used to temperatures up to 130 degrees. And you'll see them flapping those ears to keep themselves cool. Something else they can do is that they will let their internal body temperature get all the way up to 160 degrees before they start sweating. And that's how they can conserve water, which is perfectly normal for them. That's not normal for us. If we're not sweating, we want to hurry to get to the doctors. Males and females alike both have those horns. Females are going to be longer and slender because it's strictly used for defense. Males are going to be shorter and fatter because they're going to use those when they are fighting with other males. And then over on the left, you're going to see our Wachisi cattle, the name for the Wachisi tribe in Africa. Again, males and females alike both have those horns, which can get 30 inches in circumference and be up to 8 feet across. Those horns act like radiators because as the blood flows through them, it's going to dissipate that heat. And that cool blood will return back to the body and lower their temperature. They are a beast cattle, so the more you have, the wealthier you are. And also on the left over our cattle is going to be one of our 2 ostriches. That one's Lucy. Her partner in crime is Ethel. These ladies live up to those names. If Lucy could fit into the tram, she would, and she has tried. Ethel likes to lay down in front of the tram and tries to hold us hostage. And then past ostrich here on the left are the bushes and 2 of our African crown cranes. So we for that golden crown on top of their heads, which would allow them to be able to blend in with tall grass. Those birds are living fossil because they have been seen as far back as 50 million to 35 million years ago. And also in the bush here with them is going to be Fang, and he is our marabou stork. Those birds are known as the cleanup crew because they eat just about anything. So if you see hyenas and vultures, you also see marabou storks. Those birds are attracted to wildfires because they will fly ahead of them and pick off any animals that are trying to escape. And as we go through the next state up here on the left are going to be our red river hogs, and these are the most colorful of the bush pig family. They're also very destructive, as you can tell by their exhibit, but they're just doing what comes naturally. And it's going to be ridden around looking for any kind of grubs, roots, vegetables, snails, whatever they can find to eat. These hogs are known to follow elephants and baboons because they're waiting for them to drop any fruit that they happen to find up in trees. And on the right here, we're going to have some animals. The smaller one's Betty. She's another one of our visa oryx. Betty had actually broken one of her horns, so they trimmed the other one back to help with any kind of neck issues. But once they did that, though, those other females mean girled her out of the herd. So she is over here permanently now, and she is the queen bee of the shard. Now her 3 roommates those are going to be our greater kudu. Our male Logan is only 2 years old, so he has quite a bit of growing left to do. He is going to get as tall as 7 feet, and those horns are going to get at least 5 feet in length. Those animals do what's called ghosting, to where they can stand perfectly still, and they blend in so well with their surroundings that predators walk right past them and never see them. So basically they pull a tracks, but they are much better at it than him. And we have another piece of oryx here, that is Mima. She was mean girled out also, so she just got moved over here a couple weeks ago. And then to the right, you'll see that bird walking the fence line, and that is going to be Lurch. He's our Abyssinian ground hornbill. As that name implies, he does spend most of his life on the ground. And he's going to be hunting this yard, looking for any kind of lizards, snakes, rodents, toads, birds' eggs, whatever he can find. These birds can run up to 15 miles an hour, and in captivity, they can live as long as 70 years. have any males, so any eggs you see are not going to be fertile, but these hens are still going to lay just like a chicken does. So a good laying hen can lay anywhere from 40 to 60 eggs a year, and those are going to weigh 3 to 5 pounds, and are equivalent to 2 dozen chicken eggs. So there's going to be one coming up on the left here, so you get a little bit better look here. We do collect those eggs, and we'll use them for enrichment for our other animals, as well as blow them out and have them available up in the gift shop. And then for our summer camps, the kids each get their own ostrich egg that they get to pay and take home with them. And then coming up on the left here, you're going to see our African white rhinos. We'll have 3 females and a male in here. All 3 females came directly from Africa as orphans because they believe that the moms had been poached. And our male is here from San Diego Zoo for breeding. So we are hopeful that in a couple of years we'll have some bouncing baby rhinos out there. They are part of the species survival plan, and others with good book they keep track and bloodlines of a lot of these endangered animals in zoos and aquariums to ensure that we're not inbreeding them, because it is with that forethought that eventually we need to be able to re-release them back out to the wild. So we want as diverse a people as we can get, so they have a good foundation to build on. And coming up on the left, we're going to see Elizabeth. She's another one of our African crown cranes. And you named her after the late queen because she has a beautiful crown on her head. And she is definitely the ruler of this yard, and she will let you know that also. And then past her are going to be 2 more birds. That's Frick and Frack, and they are Andean geese. And as a male and female, and it can be difficult to tell the sex apart on them because they look so much alike. And that is called monomorphism. Now, dimorphism is going to be where the male will look completely different from the female, and we are going to have a case of that in our next chart with our Nile letri, which come from the Nile River Valley. These animals are excellent swimmers, so typically you will find them near water. It looks like they're going to be straight ahead and to the right here. Our male is going to be a pretty dark chocolate color with horns, and the rest of his family is a uniform brown, which makes it easier for them to blend in. So if there was danger nearby, his family's going to go and hide, and that predator's going to focus on him because he stands out. So he will lure that predator away into the nearest body of water, where he's going to do one of 2 things. Either continue to swim away from it and eventually circle back to the herd, or he's going to turn around and attack that predator, and it doesn't stand much of a chance against them because they're excellent fighters in the water. On land, they can reach speeds of up to 40 miles an hour. Gazelles with a brown stripe on their side, and those are going to be our Thompson's gazelles, and they are the smallest of that family and the fastest at 45 miles an hour. Their main predator is going to be the cheetah, which tops out at 75. But cheetahs can only maintain that speed for about 350 yards, so what those Tommies are going to do is run in a zigzag pattern until that cheetah tires out, and then they'll just continue to put some distance between them. And then the bird you see there, that long brown one, is an Egyptian goose who technically doesn't belong in here, but he managed to find his way in and now thinks he's one with the rest of that flock, and we're not going to tell him any different. The rest of those birds are called bar-headed geese, and they have a special hemoglobin in their blood, which allows them to take in more oxygen per breath compared to other birds. And that's because they have to fly over the Himalaya mountains twice a year for migration, and that's almost 30,000 feet up. So to put it in perspective, we would pass out at 20,000 feet. Kerosene oil cannot burn at that height, and helicopters stall out. And any planes flying over that mountain range have a different flight pattern, so they're not running into those birds. And then we are back in with our Andean geese again. There on the right, they are found in the Andes Mountains about 9,000 feet up. And even though they are part of the duck family, you rarely see them swimming up there unless they're trying to escape from danger, and that's because that water is pretty chilly. Now, they are considered a grazing bird since they like to stay on land and graze on that grass just like a cow would. And then back to our rhinos here, they don't have much in the way of natural predators except for humans, and that's because their skin is about 2 inches thick. Our male weighs 4,500 pounds, and the females are 3,000 pounds each. So there's not many animals willing to take them on. They are most vulnerable as babies, but of course they are extremely protective of them and would create a shield that those predators can't get through to get that young one. Now, even though their skin's so thick, it's still not the best for a hot African sun. so they would wallow in mud holes like what we have here because it does act as a natural sunblock for them as well to help keep parasites off. And when we are lucky enough that one of those females does become pregnant, their gestation is going to be anywhere from 16 to 18 months, and that baby is going to weigh between 80 and 120 pounds at birth. Yeah. And we are back in with our ostriches again. They can get up to 9 feet tall. Males can weigh as much as 350 pounds. And they are the only birds that have 2 toes on their feet. All other birds have 3 to 4 toes. And they run about 40 miles an hour. So they are the fastest land animal on 2 legs. But if they're cornered or protected in nest, they do have an extremely powerful kick that can deliver 2,000 pounds of pressure. So ostriches have been known to take out lions, and they are able to live up to 50 years. And then over there on the right with our ostriches, you'll see our blue wildebeest. These are a territorial animal, and they don't have the best of eyesight. So typically you will see them hanging out with herds of zebras, who are excellent lookouts for them. And you'll notice that they do have stripes on them, which makes it easier for them to blend in with those groups. They do have a swarm mentality to where you have that one lead animal, and if it decides to charge, everybody's going to charge. If it turns right, everybody turns right. So just like in Lion King where they run down into the canyon, that's what they're going to do, and they're not going to stop until that lead animal stops. And they run at 50 miles an hour. So we would never stand a chance trying to outrun that herd. And here at the park, we do participate in different conservation programs, and one of those is the Sahara Conservation Fund. And right now that group is focusing on the animals here on the left. These are going to be our Dama gazelles. They're also known as Adler gazelles, and they are the largest of that family. Now there's only about 100 of these individuals left in the wild. So there is a concentrated effort in zoos right now for breeding, so that we can help repopulate them back out there in the Sahara Desert. And luckily for us, they do breed very readily in captivity, because as you go through the park today, you'll notice that we do have a few of the yards that we have them in, because we are one of the larger breeders. Their babies are born a solid brown in color, like what you saw on the neck, because it allows them to blend in with the ground. When mom needs to leave to go find food, that baby is going to lay down and remain perfectly still until mom returns. And predators are going to walk right past it and not see it. So it's a lot like what deers do with their fawns. And then over on the left there, you're going to see some of our capybaras. These are from South America and are the largest of the rodent family, because they can get up to 200 pounds. They are excellent swimmers because they do have blood in between those toes. So a lot of times you'll find them out on those monkey islands trying to steal the food out there. And the black and white birds here on the right are going to be our Abdon storks, and these are the smallest of your stork family. Despite how big they look, they weigh in at only about 2 pounds each, and that's due to those hollow bones that they have. In Africa, these birds are a sign of good luck, as well as considered to be breeders of the land. And then our second island has our brown tailed capuchins, and capuchin monkeys in general are the easiest to train. So those are the ones you normally will see in movies such as Night at the Museum, or Into the Caribbean, or On the Show Friends. And then the antelope you see in here, these are our Sitatungas, and they are a marsh animal. In the wild, if they were threatened, they will find that nearest body of water, and they would go and completely submerge themselves except for their nostrils. And they would remain that way until the danger passes before they come back out. They have developed 2 layers to their coats, which helps to insulate them when they're in the water like that. And then coming up on the right, we're going to have 2 islands, which are going to have our spider monkeys on it. They are from South America. They don't have thumbs on their hands, but they do on their feet. So to make up for it, they do have a prehensile tail that they can swing with, as well as pick up food and babies with it. And then on the left here, you'll see our warthogs just doing what they do best. Our male was born without tusks, but he still has nice big warts on his face to protect him if he was fighting with another male. They don't have sweat glands like dogs, so we do provide mud holes for them at this time of year to keep themselves cool. And I'm sure you're all familiar with Timon and Pumbaa, and there is some truth in that relationship that they have with the mongoose family. Warthogs are not able to self-groom themselves, so they're going to end up with insects on them such as ticks. If there happens to be a mongoose family nearby, they will go and lay down next to them and allow them to eat all those ticks for them. And as we go through the next gate up here on the right, we'll have two macaws. There'll be a blue and gold and a blue-throated macaw. And the blue-throat's going to be the one with the least amount of white on his face, and he's a little bit smaller. Let's see if they are in the ground. Right outside the barrel there. So blue-throated macaws, there's only about 400 of those birds left in the world, and they're all 16 collections in the United States. So we're lucky we actually have 3 here at the park, because we do have 2 more in the Frenchland. We're hoping we'll produce eggs so that we can help repopulate that species. And I hope you enjoyed your ride today, so if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. And thank you for riding. You're welcome.
Good view of the warthogs. Hey guys, there's 2 more lions. Wow, they're huge. Hey. Adra gazelle. Here's one from Africa. They have longer necks and legs than most gazelle species. They tend to need more water than some of their relatives. Okay, that's interesting. More gazelles. Thompson's gazelle. East African crown crane. Oh, he's going fast. He's running like a gazelle. Okay. More gazelles.